I mean, definitely there's something about getting up in front of like 50 people with low expectations. That's really easy. Like if you don't suck, it's like, wow, we did that. That was a success. And as you get, I mean, God, some kids probably have seen us play now 100 times. You know, you want to. It's hard to stay. It's hard to stay fresh. You know, when you're playing the same music and you're the same people and you have the same band, and there's a tendency to follow a pattern in a show. Play 3 songs, talk a little bit, play a couple more songs, introduce the band. You know, like it's tough. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel. But I do think that some of my favorite concerts, what I love, and it's not a lighting show. Like I saw Madonna and I like cried, and there's the screams and the horse and everyone's screaming, and I was just like, that's a great show. I love this show. But some of my most favorite shows are when there's something, when you realize that this is an organic moment happening in front of you. It may never happen again, and you are experiencing something with everyone. And it's not an individual moment. It's not like you're experiencing it alone. You're experiencing it with a group of people, and that's truly, I guess, just spit like half of my lunch out. It's truly what's remarkable about
organic experience.
An organic experience just happened. No, but it's like it's a truly remarkable experience when you sort of realize that you're I don't know, you're having like goosebumps with like 1,000 people or something like that. And so that doesn't happen every night. That's impossible. But sometimes I look at the audience and I think, especially now that we have a lighting show, I'm like, we just made them get goosebumps. Like, you know, like you'll think that. Like you'll think like this is or I'll look at their faces or something and I'll think to myself like, oh my God, we're having a moment for the audience, like with the audience. And that's I think what it means to have a good show.
There was a woman who was Elliot Roberts, Neil Young's manager, who signed us. She was with them at that point, so she's been seeing us live now for 10 years. And she came last night to our show and saw the lighting show that we've been talking about, because we were uncomfortable with it initially, the idea that we were taking ourselves up another level. Would that, in fact, take us one step back from our audience, you know? And she came up afterwards and was like totally honest. She's like, I was not okay when I heard that you guys were doing a lighting show, but it was perfect because it was still employed enough of the intimacy that you guys have in your show, but it also took it to another level. And there were these like very much like these moments where you felt the goosebumps. And it's not, we didn't have any rehearsals with a lighting guy. He does something different every night, and there's potential that like, you know, he will do something different every night in different songs, and like he just wings it, and every night it's amazing. And I think that takes time and experience, and I don't think that day one we could have come out of our high school, okay, we're Tegan and Sara, we're going to play a show and have a lighting guy. You know what I mean? The audience would have been like, this is a band all of a sudden, you know, and you don't care about them. You're just there to see the show. I think our audience really cares. And I think even if this is the first time you've ever heard of Tegan and Sara, when you go to a show, you can feel that energy around you, so you automatically buy into that too. You realize that, yes, during 19, we will blow your mind with the thing and that and blah and like crazy, and you freak out, and then I'm going to tell you a story about, you know, something terribly embarrassing and ridiculous that happened to me, and all of a sudden we're brought right back into the living room again, where it's like, oh yeah, we're right there. And I think that takes time, you know, learn how to do that, and it just happened over 10 years, and it's finally it's finally here. Like we can get a horse on stage. It's ready. We're ready to do it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Really
No,
good.
but does it really, I mean, I think though that if you're an artist that you're mysterious and don't do interviews and like you do one press junket and whatever, fine, don't talk about your sexuality, it's not important. Sarah and I are so like verbal and so communicative with our audience that it is part of who we are. If we all of a sudden were like, okay, we're not going to talk about anything personal anymore, it would change us. It would change the music, it would change our relationship with our audience. So there's nothing wrong with that. I could leave this interview and be like, you know what, I'm done. No more interviews, no more personal questions. I want to get up on stage, I want to rock out with like blue lights, backlit, like, you know, like I saw the Strokes once, they didn't turn the lights on once, and I was like, cool. You know, if we want to do that, it's absolutely our prerogative. But while we are being so blatantly candid and open with our audience, it's a double-edged sword, because you cannot all of a sudden be like, well, I don't want to talk about my sexuality. That's what we do.
And we're not talking, I think I always tell people, like, it's a fine line between privacy and secrecy. Like, again, my mother was married and had children. She did not walk around. People go like, are these your daughters? She's like, I don't really want to talk about that. Because the implication would mean that I had sex with someone of the opposite sex, and we made these, and I don't want to talk about it. That would be absurd. It would be absurd. But so you can say, like, people ask me all the time, are you dating? And I'll be like, oh, I'm not, or whatever. Or they'll try to ask me questions that I think go beyond what I need to say. But to publicly acknowledge that I am a gay person, I think it's, again, I can't say it enough. Until it is just nothing, until there are not, like, people being, who don't have the same rights as the next person based on sexuality, I have to. I don't feel like I can hide it, and it would be hiding it. Not talking about it to me is hiding it. That's just what it is.
In our position.
In our position.
Yeah.
I think this has been the most interesting record for us because we've had breaks between almost every leg. So we've had like a month to adjust, which has been really interesting. So we do have a few months before we do an Australian tour. But I like to think of it that like we're done. We finished working the record right about now. And like, but this tour itself wasn't even really working the record. It just felt like we were touring because we're a touring band and we play live and we like doing that. And we wanted to bring out some old stuff. We have a 5-record catalog we wanted to play from. It's a great time in America to be touring because as liberals and as incredibly articulate people, it was really nice to get up on stage and be able to say, hey, you guys should vote, and here's how you do it, and like you should register, and don't forget to do this, and whoever you vote for, just make sure you vote, and it's like, the democratic process, and do it, blah blah blah, and that wasn't very articulate, but whatever. But it's been a great time to do it. So I think we toured for a number of reasons, and so Australia will be the same. So I think it was actually probably about 3 months ago that I started to have the weird withdrawal where I was like, oh my god, we're not obsessing over how the record's doing. We're not worrying about numbers. We're not like freaking out. I'm not calling my manager 80 times a day, getting 1,000 emails. Like, we're settling down, and I didn't know that I was going through that, but every time it happens, I have like a moment. It's like how women never remember they're getting their period even though they get it once a month for like 80 years or whatever, right? So it's like I was having this conversation with my mom where I was doing the whole like, I don't know, and I just feel like, and I don't know, should I paint my place and where should I spend my time on, and blah. And my mom was like, hey, you do this every time. Like, it's just, you're done. That's what's going on right now. You're just freaking out because the next thing is on the horizon, but you don't know exactly when it is, and you guys are so wired all the time that you're just starting to unravel a little bit. Like, just chill out, And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, and I felt so much better. And then I got my period. It's good.
I never get used to having to spend time with 12 people in like one space. I think it's an awkward thing, especially as you get older. It's like, most people, if you had to go home at the end of your day today with all your coworkers and get into your pajamas and have breakfast, or have dinner and then go to bed in the same room, get up together, have breakfast, how long would that job last? Like, you would be like, no, thank you. And that's a funny world that we live in. So I never really get used to that. And then completely opposite, I never really get used to the solitary, reclusive sort of writing place that most artists go to. It's lonely and it's strange and it makes life in like normal world, like relationships, friends, family members, it makes it really uneven and unbalanced. I've spent the last 10 years asking almost every single person I know to consider me and my schedule and my needs and my time off, and and it's difficult. You become the center of everyone's attention, whether or not they want to give you that attention. It's just the reality. I tour until the 20th of December, and so my mom just has got to accept that I'm not going to be there till the 21st, and I'm going to need to go Christmas shopping, and it's like, you get used to the idea that your life is the center of everyone else's life, and it's really, there's kind of like a weird energy about that, because then suddenly you're like alone in your closet writing a song, and you're like, where is my applause? Where is my tour manager? Where's my caterer? Where's my food? Like, you're just sort of like, there's these really crazy extremes in our world. So I think what Tegan was saying too is pretty accurate. We've had this kind of like a lot more of a balance this year, like taking some time off and then touring and then off and touring.
So instead of freaking out for like 2 months, you freak out for a day.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, it's fine. I only have 22 more days, and then I gotta go back on the road, so I'm just gonna enjoy it, and you just get into a rhythm right away. And it seems like easier on family and friends and partners that
I think we're getting better at it.
Better, yeah. It's good.